This is the briefing for Friday, January 23rd. Well, the rotational pattern the stock indices have been in for quite some time continues. We did get a sell-off the other day on the threat of tariff increases for the EU, and you can see that right through there. But that was a news-driven sell-off, and as I said on that day, that night's briefing, that could be completely retraced if the news changed overnight or changed in the morning, and it certainly did. And you can see we got the retracement that was expected. This was a little overdone also. Now, the interesting thing is that we're testing multiple time frame key reference area at the 689 area, which is a really important key reference area, at least at this point in time. So being in a multiple time frame key reference area, this is just a really important area right up through here. Breaking out of here, assuming we can break through these highs right through here also, which are rotating around that key reference area, will suggest the potential for a pretty good breakout to the upside, which it feels like this market is getting ready to do. Although I was very, very tempted today, just maybe a few minutes before the close, to enter some long positions on the NASDAQ in the Qs, but I decided that there really was not enough information that the market had given me yet to make that determination that we were ready for a breakout in the indices themselves. Volume has fallen off through this rally, as you can see there. This is the volume for the spiders. 52-week highs minus 52-week lows, down slightly, but still fairly positive at 342 shares. Breadth, it's weak, or it's down, negative 603 shares in the NYSE, and so is net volume. Net volume was negative for today. That was very interesting to see as well. Looking at where we are in the Qs, you can see the same thing. We have this area of rotation right through here, got another area of rotation right through here. And then, of course, it really almost in the middle of the range of this larger degree area of rotation. So breaking this area right around the 629 area is going to open up a test of this upper extreme at 637, and then potentially a breakout. But once again, a little bit concerning is the fact that volume fell off in the Qs, volume fell off in the breadth for the NASDAQ, and net volume was negative in today's trading as well. So really, even though I was leaning towards psychologically wanting to be long this market, the internals really were not giving me an indication based on even today's move to the upside that we were going to see a continuation and a potential breakout to the upside. So I'm still a little more cautious to being long this market right now. As opposed, and I'm certainly not looking at being short, at least at this point in time. And the Russell, this was the real surprise. The Russell had a pretty interesting move to the downside. Now you can see, I think you can see, this was yesterday's trading right through here. You can see we had a gap up, started to or continued to move through, then selling came in, and of course we have this selling tail that came in. Now today we gapped down. So this makes it an island reversal, which is a pretty bearish indication that basically buyers have really capitulated on the IWM, and potentially we're going to see an additional move to the downside for the IWM as well. I really want to see another day's trading before I make the indication or the decision that I'm going to be short the Russell, at least at this point in time. Now keep in mind also that this is the area of rotation that the IWM has been in. This was the second time frame rotation right around this 255 area, which is the upper extreme from both of these areas of rotation. And it broke out, and it broke out pretty significantly. And you can see here that that did not occur in the spiders, and it did not occur in the Qs either. So the Russell was really way out of ahead of the other two indices. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Monday. Could have some really good information on Monday, depending on what the price development does and what the market structure does along with the price development. Fairly negative for the IWM, or I should say the Russell. This is Russell breadth. So as you can see, it's pretty negative, 1,220 shares, and negative net volume as well. So a little bit of weakness in the market today. The IWM reflecting that weakness from an internal perspective, not so much in the S&Ps or the NASDAQ. In terms of overbought and oversold, you can see we're basically neutral in both, so it really doesn't give us an indication of whether we're extremely overbought or extremely oversold. And finally, looking at total volume, you can see total volume in the NYSE was down. It was down in the NASDAQ, and of course, you can see also that net volume was down as well. So not so much strength today, even though we saw a little bit of upside. But certainly the internals are not giving us an indication right now that the market is ready to begin to break out. If and when we test at the upper extreme of these indices and the internals are beginning to strengthen, that would then suggest the potential for a pretty good breakout move. Now, I want to show this in closing. This is a 15-minute chart of the spiders, the Qs, and the IWM. So you can see the area of rotation on a 15-minute basis at the upper extreme of the greater degree time frame rotation that I showed just earlier. So I'm going to be watching this area. I'm going to be long above 691. I'm going to be short below 687 in the spiders. Looking at what's happening here with the Qs. And you can see this pennant or this wedge that the lower end of this has held for it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 5 attempts to break down through this area here. This suggests to me that if we get a break of this trend line, that we're going to potentially see a test of this upper extreme, which comes in right around the 625 area as well. And that's what I'm going to be watching for on Monday's trading. In terms of the Russell, I'm a little concerned that it had so much damage done to it in today's trading. But if we look at this low right through here, right at the 263, 264 area, and if you look at what the 264 area here, 264 half area here, if the Russell breaks that, then I'm going to be a little more cautious with the other indices, because the Russell could be reflecting the potential for some type of a continuation of the move to the downside. And then finally, I want to look at the percentage of stocks above the 20-day and 50-day moving average. So you can see not much deterioration here. This is the percentage of stocks of the S&P 500 above its 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. In the NASDAQ, we're looking at basically the same thing. Really not a whole lot of weakness coming into the market, and in the Russell, pretty much the same as well. So it's holding some strength from an internal perspective in terms of the percentage of stocks above their 20 and 50-day moving averages. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Monday. This is an hourly chart on the spiders, the Qs, and the Russell, and you can see the trend in the IWM being down like it was. There's a lot of volatility in here. You can see a lot of buying tails and selling tails, so it's just going to be interesting to see which way we do break. But I'm going to be watching most closely these daily charts, because they are really telling us that we are at a multiple time frame key reference area, and a break of that is going to be a fairly good move, and if it happens, it's going to be to the upside. Alternatively, if we don't break out, and we don't break out soon, we could see another rotation back down through this range. You can see that we got the rotation to test this area. Potentially we're going to see a rotation back down to test this area. Then it's going to be a question of, are we going to break out to the downside? Don't see that in the near future, but that can always change based on what the internals tell us on the next larger degree move. Have a great weekend. I'll pick this back up again on Monday for subscribers.